ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Can repeat. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
प्रजहाति यदा कामान्
प्रजहाति यदा कामान्
सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान्
पार्थमनोगतान्
आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः
आत्मन्येवात्मना
स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते।
स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते
दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनाः
दुःखेष्वनुविघ्नमनः
सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः
सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः
वीतरागभयक्रोधः
वीतरागभयक्रोधः
तितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते
चित्तधीर्मुनिरुच्यते
यः सर्वत्रानभिस्नेहः
यः सर्वत्राणभिस्नेहः
तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम्
तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम्
नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि
नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि
अस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
To this we have seen Sata Prajna Lakshanani, because Arjuna asked Sata Prajnasya ka bhasha kimasita katam vrajeta iti. He wanted to know the Lakshana, the characteristics of a Sata Prajna, a wise man. So he wants to know the Lakshana. Why he wants to know? That is, he wants to know the Lakshana which makes a person a wise person. That is why Tita Prajnasya Lakshanani Sadakasya Sadhanani. The Lakshana of a Jnani, the characteristics of the Jnani, that becomes the sadhana, the means for a sadhaka, a spiritual person, a spiritual practitioner. For him, it becomes a sadhana. He can imitate. He can imitate means imbibe, not pretending, no pretension, faking it and making it. Because Sata Prajna is a person who is free from bhaya. You also have to be fearless. Abhaya is fearless. He is fearless and he is not a cause for fear to anyone. He doesn't cause fear in anyone and he also is fearless. That is a Lakshanam. And that one has to imbibe. You have to imbibe and imitate, follow Sata Prajna. So similarly, all the Lakshanas, one has to, the sadhaka has to imbibe. When he makes those Lakshana is characteristics, he becomes a Sata Prajna. The sadhaka becomes a Sata Prajna. That is the idea. So the reason for asking this question by Arjuna to Krishna is, if he knows what makes a person a jnani, that he can follow, that he can adopt in life. So that is why he asked this question, for which Bhagavan he gives answer in the series of this shloka, starting from here up to the end of this chapter. Sata Prajna is one who has grown out of the desires. Sarvan Kaman, all the desires, grows out, he has grown out of all the desires, which has Manogatan, Manasi Agata, the desires which has come upon his mind, all the fancies, the fanciful imaginations, all the fancy desires. So from that he has grown out of. That is, he has grown out of the Vishayananda, the desire for the Vishaya. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Pancha Vishaya Sadhar and Pancha Indriya Sadhar. So the Indriyas run towards the Indriya Vishaya naturally because the desire is there. Therefore, the Indriyas run. If desire is not there, Indriyas will not go towards the Vishayas. This person, he has grown out of desires. Therefore, all the Indriyas are with himself. So grown out of any desire, whether it is appropriate or inappropriate. We can take mainly inappropriate or the desires which are not in keeping with dharma. Because in another place, Bhagavan Krishna says, Dharma viruddhaha kamaha agamasmi. That kama, the desire, in keeping with dharma, is myself. As long as the desire is dharmika, as long as the desire is non-binding, there's no problem. Because it is a non-binding desire. It doesn't bind a person. Binding is if the desired object is not gained, that will convert into anger. Because it is non-binding, it will not become converted to anger. So therefore non-binding. And also all the illegitimate, inappropriate, improper, those desires, everything, he has given up, not deliberately, he has grown out of all the desires because of his jnanam. What is that jnanam? Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. He has understood that tushtaha is glad, is happy. Tushti, triptihi, is satisfied with himself. He has found the happiness in himself. He has found the source of happiness, the source of comfort, the source of peace, the source of security to be himself. It doesn't lie in the Vishayas of the world. Vishayas are anitya. Therefore, it gives anitya sukham, anitya, dukkam also anitya. And most of the time it is dukkam, sometimes it is sukham, but they are anitya. It doesn't give him security, it doesn't give him peace. So therefore, he discovered that Ananda is himself. So Atmani eva atmana tushtaha, who has discovered that Ananda in oneself, by oneself. So that person, that in himself means what is that Swarupa himself? Swarupa of himself is that Agam Sachit Ananda Atma Brahma iti. That is the understanding about one's own Swarupa. In that he revels. So therefore, that person, Dukkeshu Anudviknamanaha, is not depressed, is not demotivated. He doesn't become despondent because of dukkam. In times of dukkam, times of pain and sorrow, it doesn't become depressed, it doesn't become demotivated. Similarly, Sukeshu Vigatas Virgaha. Similarly, when he gains sukha, he is free from longing to enjoy it also. Sukha comes, he welcomes. Dukkha comes, that also he welcomes. Because both are anitya. They come and they go. It just becomes hollow. It just enters through him and goes away. Doesn't create any dent on that person. He neither becomes elated nor become depressed when he faces sukha and dukkha respectively. So therefore, and he enjoys a mind which is free from raga, bhaya, krodha. Free from raga, bhaya, krodha. There is no raga, and therefore bhaya also not there, krodha also is not there. And he is sarvatra anabhisnegaha. Tat prapya shubha shubham. Shubham prapya ashubham prapyava. Sarvatra anabhisnegaha. He doesn't get elated too much when he gets something which is desirable. Similarly, when he gets something which is not desirable, he doesn't become depressed, frustrated also. So, sarvatra anabhisnegaha. There is no sneha. Anabhisnegaha. Abhisnegaha. Na abhisnegaha. Anabhisnegaha. Sarvatra. Everywhere. Na anabhisnegaha. Without this attachment. So anabhisnegaha, the person is free from bondage. What binds you? This sukha, this longing for sukham. the longing for sukham, the pravritti for sukham, and nivritti from dukkham, that is what binds a person. This person doesn't have, whether it is sukham or dukkha, because he is not depressed by dukkha. Anudvikta manaha dukkeshu, dukkeshu vishayeshu. Similarly, sukeshu vishaye vigatas pragaha. Therefore, they cannot create any dent on this person. He is not bound by the sukha anubhava or dukkha anubhava. Therefore, tat prapya. Tat shubham prapya, ashubham prapya, na abhinandati. Shubham prapya, na abhinandati. Dukkam prapya, na dveshti. It doesn't become elated when he gains sukham. Similarly, he doesn't become frustrated when he gains dukkham. His prajna alone is pratishtita, well established. His prajna is steady. The one whose prajna is steady, the one who has all this lakshanam, his prajna is steady. What is that prajna? Viveka prajna, atma jnanam. So he is the person called Sthita Prajna, Sthitadhihi, Samadhistaha. Many words are used, even by Arjuna. So that person who has this Viveka Jnanam, who understands this Atma and Atma very clearly, is Jnanam, is Pratishtita, is a Jnani, Atma Jnani, is a Sthita Prajna iti. Up to this, we have seen. Then next shloka now, shloka number 58. Yada samharate chayam.
Yada samharate chayam.
Kurmungani vasarvashah.
Kurmungani sarvashah.
Indriyani indriyartebhyah.
Indriyartebhyah.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
So in this shloka, Bhagavan Krishna, he says, so the sadhana, Bhagavan Krishna gives a sadhanam for jnana nishta. The nishta, the steadiness, the steady jnanam, the wisdom, what this jnani has, what is a sadhanam for it? What is a sadhanam? The sadhanam, as we saw, the sadhanam begins with karma yoga. Karma yoga for chitta shuddhi, for raga dvesha neutralization, for raga dvesha samadhanam, we need karma yoga. And upasana for the focus, the concentration, chitta naischalyam. So karma yoga, upasana. After, by that, a person gains sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. That is required for the pursuit of this jnanam, because jnanam is listening to the shastra. The commitment, the clarity, the person must be a viveki, vairagi. Vairagyam is required. If vairagya is not there, this jnanam also will become one more jnanam, one more knowledge, like any other academic knowledge. That will not serve the purpose. It will not remove samsara. The person will continue to be a samsari. He has jnanam, but samsari only. That jnanam is not, the jnanam doesn't become well established. There is no jnana nishta. Mere jnanam is there. Jnana nishta is important. Jnana nishta is that one who is established in the jnanam. For that, nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is contemplating on the teaching of the shastram again and again. One time shravanam is not enough. At the first time shravanam, jnanam takes place. Second time, third time, keep repeating the shravanam to remove all the possible doubts. But viparita, that doubts may be there, the vagueness of doubt, that has to go. That is by Vananam, it is done analysis. After listening, we have to do analysis of what we listen to. Then Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana, the Viparita Bhavana will continue in spite of Jnanam because of this samskara, the Vasana. Viparita jnana will be there. That has to go. For that, one has to deliberately, alertly, he has to put into the practice what he has listened to. That is nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanena jnananishta. And jnananishtaya becomes a jnani. So for that jnananishta, the sadhanam is prescribed. Jnananishta, shravanam, mananam, then nididhyasanam. But for nididhyasanam, what is required? The person must have, for nididhyasanam is one of the, nididhyasanam is one of the anga, that is shravana, manana, nididhyasanam. And nididhyasanam has to go along with shama and dhamma. Nididhyasanam for jnananishta. And for that, shama and dhamma, these sadhanas are also important. Not only this sadhana, this shama and dhamma, it's just, this shloka talks about this dhamma. By dhamma, we can bring all the other sadhanas. Viveka, vairagya, titiksha, uparatihi, all those things can be brought in. So in this shloka, dhamma is highlighted. Dhamma is the mastery over this sense organ. That is important, that is being highlighted. So, because the indriyas are the reporters of the indriya vishaya. If the person doesn't have shama, and indriya brings in the indriya vishaya, dhamma also not there, then the person will be taken over by indriya vishaya. That becomes a distraction, and his pursuit of jnanam is obstructed. Therefore, first at the level of indriya, dhamma is required. At the level of mind, shama also is required. Both are required. If at the level of mind, if it is not there, at least at the level of the physical, the indriyas, the sense organs, one must have dhamma. Dhamma means mastery over sense organ. One has to make the sense organs his servant, obedient servant. He has to call back. Sense organs goes out. He should have the power, the ability to call it back, to bring it back. Then shama is also important. Without shama, if shama is not the dhamma, but shama, that is the mastery over the mind. Even if it is not there, if dhamma is there, at least the person can save himself. At least the person can save himself. If dhamma is not there, then there is no spiritual pursuit. So therefore, dhamma is important. Shama is also equally important, but in this shloka, the dhamma is highlighted. So therefore here, ayam purushaha, yada samharate chayam, ayam kurmaha angani iva sarvashaha, indriyani indriyatebhyaha, tasya prajna pratishtitaha. This purusha who wants to become a siddha prajna, what should he do? That being said, indriyani, that is indriyas, indriyartebhyaha samharate. Yada, as indriyani, kurmaha indriyani, indriyartebhyaha samharate. Kurma is the tortoise. As the kurma, the tortoise, indriyani, the sense organs, indriya artha, indriyanam arthaha, indriya arthaha, tebhyaha, from that is vishaya. 5 sense organs are there, 5 sense objects are there. 5 sense organs, kurma, the tortoise, what does it do? Withdraws the sense organs from what? From the sense objects, from the indriya vishaya. 5 indriyas, 5 sense objects, and this kurma also has got 5 limbs. So the kurma has got 5 limbs, and 5 limbs are compared to the pancha indriyani. And kurma, like the kurma, the siddha prajna also, he withdraws his indriyas, the sense organs, from sense objects. How? It is his will. He uses his willpower and withdraw. That is because of dhamma, complete mastery over sense organ. If he orders a sense organ, no to this, sense organs obey. Sense organs obey. It doesn't get agitated. It doesn't revolt against this person. Therefore, samyak harate, samharate. Samharate is samyak, who is able to do naturally, who is able to do spontaneously. The kurma, the tortoise, does spontaneously. When he senses a danger, immediately withdraws his limbs, as it does very spontaneously, naturally. Similarly, this Chitta Prajna must be, the Chitta Prajna does. Therefore, the person who is able to withdraw his sense organs at will, easily, naturally, spontaneously, is Prajna. The buddhi of that person is said to be well rooted, established in this jnanam, atma jnanam. Or if the person has this quality, he will become an atma jnani over a period of time. Over a period of time, he will become an atma jnani. Not just by mastery of sense organs, it will become atma jnani. Provided other things, that he must be a mumukshu. He must be a seeker of freedom. Therefore, he goes to the guru, studies shastram. All these things are implied. So for that person, if this dhamma, the mastery over sense organ is there, then jnanam is assured. So the prajna, the Sata Prajna is assured for that person. He will become a Sata Prajna. There need not be any doubt. Therefore, this is a sadhanam, the means prescribed by Bhagavan. So, kurmaha angani iva, as the tortoise withdraws its anga, the limbs. Similarly, why does the tortoise withdraw? To protect himself from the danger, the possible danger. Similarly, this person who wants to become a jnani, Sata Prajna, he should be able to call back his sense organs from sense objects, that is will. Complete mastery over the sense organs. For what? To protect oneself, to protect one's buddhi, one's mind, to protect one's life. Let me not be carried over by this material things. So as much interaction is required with the material world, that much is allowed. More than that, it is not allowed. So therefore, like a tortoise, this person withdraws his sense organs. Withdrawing sense organ not just for the sake of withdrawing. It is withdrawing for the sake of this spiritual pursuit. Being a mumukshu, he has got commitment to this jnanam. Therefore, withdrawing sense organs, it gives a benefit. That is, you become free. You avoid dukkha anubhava. That is one side benefit is there. But for this person, since his commitment is jnanam, the knowledge, therefore, through this shloka, Bhagavan Krishna says, first you must abstain from using sense organs illegitimately, improperly. So the sense organs are meant for use. It is not just to keep it dull or ineffective. Use when it is required. It should be under your mastery, your control. So let it not control you. You have say over that. So withdrawing from sense organs shows the free will. The person enjoys so much free will, is able to withdraw the sense organs. By simply withdrawing sense organs, one will not become wise. One will not become wise. One will become wise only when he has overcome the desire for things. So therefore, shama, etc. is required. One has overcome the desires, the inappropriate, illegitimate desires for things and the people. And the person is a mumukshu, committed to this jnanam. Therefore, does shastra shravanam, study and all. That is therefore this dhamma is beneficial for that person. So therefore it is a sadhana. Then the next shloka will read. Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Niraharasya deginaha.
निराहारस्य देहिनः
रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य
रसोऽप्यस्य
परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते
परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते.
So this shloka is a continuation of the previous shloka. Vishayaha vinivartante niraharasya teginaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. This previous shloka we saw dhamma is required. For dhamma is required for a person who wants to become a sata prajna. He must cultivate this quality dhamma, the mastery over the organs of perception as well as action, karmendriyani, jnanendriyani. Then this moksha, this atma jnanam, it is possible only through jnanam, knowledge. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanata darshanam iti Gita itself is says. That is, this tattva darshanam, this adhyatma jnana nityatvam, this exposure to shastra, it is not once a week. It must be done every day. It must be done every day. Every day, this, the knowledge, whatever we learned has to be recalled, it has to be thought of, and it has to be studied every day. Only when this knowledge is strongly established in the mind, and only when it is strongly established, then only the longing for things, the craving for things and objects, that as a grip on the mind, slowly it will get loosened. Slowly it will get loosened, and finally it disappears from the mind. But as long as it doesn't disappear from the mind, that craving, that longing, it is there. One has to be alert, and one has to regularly study, do the Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. One has to keep on exposing oneself to the study of the Gita. So that's why he says, Vishayaha vinivartante. Even though you have Dhamma, the mastery over sense organs, even though you have Shama, mastery over your mind, but this Indriya Vishayaha vinivartante. Indriya Vishayaha vinivartante. Vinivartante. When you have Dhamma and this Buddhi is there, what happens? Vinivartante, the sense objects by your Viveka Buddhi, and this Jnanam, Vinivartante means it turns back. What turns back? Vinivartante, this Vishayaha, the sense objects drops off. Drops off means you are not interested in sense objects because you have got this Viveka Buddhi, this Dhamma is there. Therefore, the Vishayas drops off for you. It is like when you are doing some tapas, when you are doing fasting, you deliberately drop the desire for enjoying food. Enjoying food is a bhoga. That bhoga Vishaya, that fancy for that, you drop it, deliberately you drop it. It doesn't mean it goes away forever. Next day you have to eat. And next day you will, in fact, you will eat the food what you like much. Your favorite dish you will have because you have fasted the previous day. You keep on saying that and you enjoy, you compensate for the fasting. So therefore, when you do the tapas, when you do self-discipline, this tapas, when you do any sort of tapas, any sort of penance, even if it is a fasting, it is a tapas. You may drop the bhoga, the desire food for time being, but the desire for that doesn't go away, it is there. You have stopped indulging in bhoga for time being, but the taste for that doesn't go away. The taste for that continues to be there. You have deliberately stopped from being indulging in bhoga vishaya. Bhoga vishaya could be anything: food, cloth, dress, any sort of pleasure, sense pleasures, any sort of sense pleasure. You have deliberately stopped indulging in it, but the taste doesn't go, it is there. When that will go, that taste or the fancy for that will go only when jnanam is steady. Only when there is complete abidance in this jnanam, then only even the fancy for those objects will drop. So, niraharasya deginaha vishayaha indriya vishayaha vinivartante. This niraharasya, ahara means food. The food for the indriya vishaya. For the ears, this ahara, the food is shabda, the words, nice song, nice words, nice song, that is the ahara. For the eyes, the ahara, the food is the pleasant objects. The objects are the person whom you want to see, whom you enjoy by seeing, that visually you enjoy. Similarly, for the tongue, it is tasty food. So every indriya has got the ahara, the food is there. So when the sense objects are prevented deliberately, so that the sense organs it's not allowed to experience the sense objects, the sense pleasure. Niraharisya deginaha. It doesn't mean that the desire for sense objects gone away. It is deliberately done by you. But that vishayaha vinivar, the desire, that rasavarjam will be there, the taste for that will be there, that doesn't go away. That will go away only when this jnanam takes place. That is what is being said. So, niraharasya deginaha vishayaha vinivartante rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate iti. So, that is this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, the desire and the longing for the objects and the resultant experiences, resulting anger, etc. Everything gains strength when there is an interaction between the sense object and the sense organs. And therefore, the experience is there. That experience overpower the mind and buddhi. When this ahara to the sense organs, that is indriya vishaya to the sense organs, is denied by this tapas and jnanam, then the power what the sense objects have to withdraw the sense organs, that is completely cut off. Then that will not have any dent on this person. Rasavarjam rasopyasya. That also, that except for the longing for the objects, except for the longing of the mind for sense objects and sense experiences. That is, this interaction between the sense organs and the sense objects, they are cut off because of his viveka buddhi. Has got viveka, he has analyzed the effect of this interaction and he has deliberately stopped and he has got mastery over the mind. Fine. But that alone, that is only a temporary means to be free from the attack of or the influence of sense objects. The rasavarjam will be there. Rasavarjam means the longing for the sense objects will be there. That also will go away. When param drishtva nivartate. Only when the person param drishtva, param is brahma drishtva, ishwar jnanam. Drishtva means drishti, vision. Only when the person understands as the vision of Brahma, that the Swarupam of oneself, then only this desire, then only this longing, the rasa means desire, rasa means taste means desire, then only even the longing that will go away. Otherwise, the longing will be there. But longing will not create any trouble for that person, because the person has got Viveka Buddhi. The person has got Viveka Buddhi and person has got Dhamma. Therefore, the longing will not create any trouble for this sadhaka. But for the longing also to go, that will happen only in the wake of Jnanam. Param Drishtva means Param Tattvam Drishtva, Paramatmanam Drishtva. Only when he sees a Paramatma, obviously, not physically, only when he understands the Tattvam, that I, the Atma, is not different from this Jagat Karanam Brahma, that I am Ishvara, that Jnanam, the Tattva Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. Only when he has that vision of the Shastram, then only this rasa, the rasa also will go away. Otherwise, this rasa varjam will be there. Rasa varjam means this rasa will be left out, shesha, this will be baki in that person. That rasa also will go away. Rasaha api asya nivartate. The rasa also will turn back from this person. When he has this jnana, when he has the tattva jnanam, atma jnanam, then only that go away. So param drishta means having seen oneself as atma, purna atma, param brahma, agam brahma asmi, iti jnatva. That is called drishti. That is called drishtva. Drishtva means having seen. The drishti, the vision. What is the vision? Agam brahma asmi. Agam brahma asmi iti jnatva. That is atma jnanam, self-knowledge. And that abidance in that jnanam, that only will remove this raga dvesha. Completely the raga dvesha will go away. Therefore, this shloka shows the limitation of Dhamma also. Dhamma is required. The mastery of a sense organ is required. But that alone is not sufficient. Dhamma, you have the mastery, but how long? You may have it for long, fine. But even when you have Dhamma, the Ajnanam is there. You have to free yourself from Ajnanam for moksha. So Dhamma prevents you from experiencing dukkha. For that, Dhamma is useful. And to keep your mind focused on the Shastram, Dhamma is required. The cause for the problem is the longing for the Indriya Vishaya by the Indriyas. That has to go. That will go only when this jnanam happens, when this jnanam takes place. Therefore, the Shama, Dhamma, and Nididhyasanam, that is for Jnana Nishta, it is important. That is what is highlighted. So Rasa Varjam, the rasa, the fancy for the objects of the world will be there as long as one doesn't discover oneself to be Purna Atma. As long as one doesn't discover oneself to be that Atma, the fancy will be there. The sensory addiction in a subtle way will be there, not in a manifested way. Because you have stopped your sense organs from interacting with the sense object. Deliberately you have done, because you are a powerful person, you have got Dhamma. But the cause is fancy. The root cause is fancy. Fancy itself has to go. That will go only in the wake of the jnanam. That is what being said. So rasavarjam, that rasaha api nivartate param drishtva iti. So therefore, the highlight is the sense organs must be under your control. Don't be carried away by fancies, the raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. Keeping your sense organs under your management is important, is very important. Then only you can do, as Bhagavan Krishna said before, the karma yoga, it is possible. Karmanyevadhikaraste Whatever is to be done, it must be done. Whatever it is to be done must be done. And whatever to be done, the tena tyaktena bunjitaha, in Ishavasya Upanishad, tena tyaktena bunjitaha, what has been allotted to you, left out for you by Bhagavan, that you have to take it as Ishwar karma and do it. Yogastha kuru karmani. So whatever yoga tishtati, whatever you need to do, that you have to do. That karma yoga is there. But karma yoga, when karma yoga is that, the action is involved. How will you do action without operating your sense organs? Therefore, in operating the sense organs, one has to be highly alert. That alertness is pointed out, but that alertness is only the means. That will not serve it's not the end. Alertness is only the means. The end is that rasa, the longing which is there, that also has to go. Then only the end is accomplished. That is what being highlighted in this mantra, shloka. So therefore, Bhagavan Krishna points out in the next shloka, this sense organ, the Dhamma, that is important. Dhamma is important. But even when Dhamma is there, what happens to the people? That is being said. The next shloka. Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Yatato Kaunteya
Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Purushasya Vipaschitaha
Indriyani pramathini.
Indriyani Pramatini
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Haranti Prasabham Manaha.
Yatataha, yatadatu. Yatataha means the person who makes effort. It is a shatranta. Yatantau, yatantaha. So yatataha referring to the person who makes effort. Yat prayatne. That is why yati we say. Yati is sannyasi. Who does prayatna? What prayatna? Prayatna for gaining moksha through jnanam. Therefore, is called yati. So yatataha manaha api. Even the mind of the person who makes effort for what? For gaining this jnanam, atma jnanam. How? Through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam, and practicing all the spiritual disciplines, Karma Yoga, Upasana, etc. Even the mind of that person, yatataha api, he kaunteya, yatataha purushasya vipaschitaha, manaha api. Even the mind of the person who has got this viveka jnana, who has got the understanding of what is right and what is wrong. He has got that clarity. Even that for that person, for the person who has this clarity, vipaschitaha, visheshena, vipaschitaha, the person, visheshena, vishesha darshanam asti, vipaschitaha. Vipaschitaha means vidushaha, is a jnani. Vipaschitaha is a jnani. He has got that vision. He has got that understanding. Therefore, vidushaha. Even the mind of that person, purushasya vipaschitaha manaha api, even the mind of the person who has got this viveka jnanam, what happens to that? It is indriyani pramatini haranti. It haranti means abducted, hijacked. Hijacked by what? Indriyas. Haranti, indriyani haranti. Indriyas hijacked, they abduct the person. The person is abducted by the sense organs, overpowered by the sense organs. Even the person who has got this jnana, viveka jnana, even for that person, the indriyas attack. Indriyas take over that person, overpower the sense organs of that person. It means the indriyas are so strong, overpowers the mind of the person. The sense organs overpower the mind of the persons. So indriyas, the sense organs, indriyani, sense organs, pancha indriyani, And they are pramatini, haranti. Haranti is they abduct. They abduct the purushasya vipaschitaha, the viveka jnanam of this purusha, who is yatataha, who is putting effort, who is doing prayatna. Even that person, mind is hijacked by these powerful sense organs, pramatini. Indriyani, pramattanashilani, pramatini. The sense organs throw the mind of this person into what? Into confusion. Into confusion, it will make him restless. The mind of the person is disturbed and make him restless by this sense organs. The sense organs are so strong. Prasabham. Prasabham means by force. Forcefully hijack the mind of the person. So by force, the indriyas are so strong. The indriyas are so strong, it will disturb even the mind of this person who has got this viveka buddhi, So therefore, indriyani haranti, the sense organs take away. What? The mind, manaha. From what? From this spiritual pursuit. Why this indriyani? Because they are pramatini. Why this indriyani haranti? They have got that power. They are very turbulent. Pramatana shidani. The sense organs are turbulent. In nature, they are turbulent. The more you try to subjugate it, it will try to be more turbulent. So it has to be like a child, slowly cajoled, and make it follow what we say, what the mind say. So therefore, the sense organs which are turbulent, which churns the mind, prasabam, forcefully. Therefore, the powerful sense organs drag this person, distract this person forcefully. In fact, the sense organs really they are jada, they are really innocent. What does is the mind. The person has got viveka buddhi, but the mind is not that much strong. The mind is not that much, even though the person is knowledgeable, he has got viveka buddhi, but still there is some weakness in the mind. That is why the sense organs overpower the mind of the person. The person is a learned person. He has got knowledge. He knows what is right, what is wrong, but still this vipaschit purushasya, even for those person who are learned and who make effort in trying to understand, what is right, what is wrong, yatataha api, even for the person who has learned and who has this viveka, the mind of that person is dragged, is overpowered by this forceful, powerful, turbulent sense organs. So therefore, one should not lower this guards. Don't take the sense organs for granted. The sense organs are very powerful till one achieves the destination, the goal, that is the stage of Sita Prajna. There is a chance of fall all the way. Therefore, one has to be highly alert. The mind also, even though if it is the mind of the mind, the person is a learned person, the mind knows, has got all the knowledge, but still the sense organs can overpower the mind. That possibility is there. So Bhagavan Krishna, he cautions. So don't you be complacent. Don't be complacent. The sense organs are powerful, and the mind also, even though you are a learned person, the mind has got this knowledge, the Viveka Buddhi is there, but still the Viveka Buddhi can be stultified by this powerful sense organs. So therefore, one has to be on guard with this sense organs all the time. No relaxation at any point of time. So therefore, Shama and Dhamma, they has to go hand in hand. Shama, the mastery over the mind. Dhamma, the mastery over the sense organs. It has to go together with nididhyasanam, that is the study and the thinking and the contemplating on the teaching of the Shastra till we reach the goal. The goal is this jnana. So, therefore, here a caution is given by Bhagavan Krishna in this shloka. And Purushasya Vipaschitaha, that word is important. Even the Purusha who has got this Vipaschitaha, who has got the learning, who is highly knowledgeable, even that person. That is why we see many knowledgeable person, a learned person also get into this trap, because the mind is not that much strong. There is some slackness, some weakness in the mind. And if you allow the sense organ, it will overpower it. Therefore, we need to have two checkpoints, both checkpoints at the level of sense organs, at the level of mind. Even in Vyavahara, it is required. Then what to talk about in with Adhyatma, this pursuit in Moksha Vishaya, in spiritual pursuit, it is all the more required. That is why it is being highlighted. And Sita Prajna has this. So therefore, Sita Prajna has Shama and Dhamma. Yes, because he has got Jnanam. His Jnanam is untouched. It cannot be touched by anything. He has got Jnanam, therefore he is free. He is free from the turbulences caused by the sense organs. Because his mind, in fact, his mind, he knows that mind is also an instrument, it is a upadhi. He has got that jnanam, therefore, the vritti, the thoughts of the mind, he will not be overpowered by the thought, because he look upon even the thoughts very objectively, doesn't have abhimana with the thoughts. The vritti comes, vritti goes. But yes, that all those vrittis are nullified, are made mithya by this akandakara vritti. What is that akandakara vritti? That agam brahma asmi. Without that, all these vritti is also not there. So agam brahma, that vritti is very strong. That knowledge is very strong in that person. Therefore, other vrittis will not create any dent in this jnani. That is why he is a jnani. Then the next shloka. Next shloka, again, it talks about Shama. It talked about Shama. Dhamma talked about, the next shloka talks about Shama. Tani sarvani sanyamya.
Tani sarvani samyamya.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Vashehi yasyendriyani.
Vashehi yasya indrani.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Therefore, tani sarvani sanyamya. Sanyamya is samyak yam. Yam dhatu. Yam is niyamanam, that is restraining. Yam ya samyak yam ya lya pratyaya sam upasarga yam dhatu, which has got karma. Karma is sarvani, that is indriyani. Tani is pronoun, demonstrative pronoun. Tani referring to the indriyani. Sarvani indriyani sanyamya. Sakalani indriyani sanyamya. Sanyamya means nirudhya. Having mastered all of them, having mastered the interaction of the sense organs with the sense objects, there is alertness, watchfulness, being alert, wide awake, being alert. So, sanyamya, nirudhya. Then this sarvani sanyamya, yukta asita matpara. Kaha, this yuktaha, this yogi, this person, matparaha asit. Matparaha asit means, mat referring to, here mat means me, I, me. Matparaha Bhagavan Krishna says. Bhagavan Krishna doesn't say you be committed to me as an individual. He says me, that agam is Paramatma. Therefore, you be committed to me, that is Paramatma. So Matparaha, Paramatma must be your commitment. Bhagavan Krishna is Paramatma. Therefore, can be committed to Paramatma, Krishna. But Krishna is not only as an individual. Krishna is there in everyone. Who is that Krishna? That Ishvara, the Paramatma is Bhagavan Krishna, is Bhagavan. So Matparaha means you have this Me as your commitment. Me is this Paramatma as your commitment. This Atma Jnanam as your commitment. So Matparaha, with the commitment to me, Matparaha, it means Nididhyasana. Matparaha means Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means that your commitment only be this Jnanam. All the other activities should subside this commitment. All the Vyavahara, the material activities also, everything should subserve this Parama Purushartha, the Moksha Purushartha. Then only those also are Purushartha. Then only the person also will become sane. Only when there is commitment for spiritual pursuit, then only the other pursuit are meaningful. Otherwise, it is a meaningless pursuit. So therefore, Matparaha means having commitment to me, having commitment to moksha, keeping moksha as your top priority. When moksha is a top priority, then all the other purushartha will subserve it. Therefore, Matparaha, the Nididhyasanam, so contemplating on me, Tani Sarvani Sayamya, having mastered all the sense organs, contemplating on me, the Paramatma, who is Atma, then Vashehi Yasyendriyani, Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Yasya Indriyani Vashehi. Yasya, the one whose Indriyas are, is Vashe. Vashe means Adinye, the one whose Indriyas are mastered. Yasya Indriyani Vashe. Yasya Indriyani Vashe, the one whose Indriyas are mastered, Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. His knowledge is, his prajna, his knowledge is well established. Pratishtita Bhavati. So, Vasha means control. The one who has his sense organs under his control. Oh, because he has got Matparaha, he has got the commitment to Jnanam, he has got that commitment. Therefore, all the Indriyas are under his Vasha, his control. The one who has this Tasya Prajna, his Prajna is well established. Pratishtita, well established. So, Vashikaranam Kurutva, keeping all the Indriyas, organs of perception, organs of action, everything under one's control. Yukta Asita, Samahita San Asita, the one who wants to gain this jnanam, who wants to be a wise person, he must ever abide in this Matparaha, this Atma Jnanam, in this vision of this Paramatma, this Parameshwara. So, Vashehi Yasyendriyani Tasya Prajna Pratishtita, the one whose organs of perception, Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas, perception, Jnanendriya, action, Karmendriya. The one who has them under his control by self-discipline, then for that person, this Atma Jnanam, this Ishvara Jnanam is well established. In that person only, this Jnanam is well established. This Atma Jnanam, this Prajna, this wisdom is well rooted. Pratishtita Bhavati. So, Yasya Indriyani Vashe Bhavanti, Tasya Prajna Pratishtita Bhavati. The one who has his Indriyas under his Vasha, for him only this Prajna is Pratishtita. Why? Because when Indriyas are highly operative, Indriyas are outgoing, that will bring in Dukkham. Sarvam Paravasham Dukkham, Sarvam Atmavasham Sukham. When Indriyas are dependent on the Indriya Vishaya for Sukham, that is Samsara. When the Indriyas are well managed and doesn't go out naturally because the person revels in Atma, that independency, that is Sukham, that is Jnanam. Therefore, Sarvam Atmavasham Sukham. This person who has this knowledge, this Atma Jnanam, Saha Sukhi Bhavati, and therefore his knowledge is Pratishtita, well established, well rooted. So therefore Sanyamya, that Sanyamanam is important. Sanyamanam and Yukta Asita, the Nididhyasanam. So Nididhyasanam and this Sanyamya, the Dhamma is talked about. Shama is going to come in the next shloka, 62 and 63. So Dhamma, Shama and Nididhyasanam. Dhamma and Nididhyasanam being talked about. And Shama is going to be talked about. Shama is the mastery over the mind. Important shloka which are coming that we will see in the next class. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunbanti Divyai Stavaihi Vedai Sanghapada Kramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद शरण जी।